What's up, everybody? So, it's a new season of Basketball Wives, and I am going to be covering this season as well. And I missed episode 1, so I'm jumping straight into episode 2. So, I'm going to get right into it. It starts with the opening scene of Jackie Chrissy and Kristen are at the nail salon, and they're basically talking about this whole situation with Byron and Kristen and CeCe and yada yada. This same thing from last season, but this season CeCe is supposedly getting married to Byron, so it's a whole big thing where nobody is talking to anybody, and they're wondering if they're going to get an invitation to her wedding. The reg. So they're talking about it, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a sit down with CeCe. It's gonna be me, Malaysia." And Byron's sister London, and London knows about how CeCe is so fake, and she used to work for her, and she said not one time did CeCe ever sit her down and ask her about her personal life, her divorce, what was going on, blah blah blah. Basically didn't act like a stepmother. And the only thing I have to say to that is I feel like they're trying to change CeCe into somebody that she isn't. It's clear to see that CeCe is kind of withdrawn, and she doesn't really know what a family is, probably. So it seems like they're getting mad at her for the wrong reasons. I mean, if she doesn't want to open up, I feel like that's personally her own thing. Then we got Jennifer. She walks in. They're talking about the situation that happened at Shawnee's party, where Shawnee basically cleared everybody out and was like, "No, I don't want you in here because you was talking about my son, my son's baby, my son's daddy." She was just doing too much at that daggone party. So she cleared everybody out. So of course Jackie, Chrissy, and Kristen are going to talk about this because Shawnee basically left because Jennifer was talking behind Shawnee's back again, and she said some remarks to Kristen where it was like, Shaq cheats all the time. He used to cheat on Shawnee all the time, so I don't know why it was a shocker that he could have cheated with Evelyn. So, of course, messy Kristen went back and told Shawnee that. So Shawnee had a whole attitude with Jennifer before Jennifer walked into the party, because she had already forgave Jennifer because Jennifer had reached out to Shawnee when she heard about Shawnee's son having to have open heart surgery. So, according to Shawnee, they were cool. But when messy Kristen went back to her and told her that, she was like, "Oh, I don't know why Shawnee was mad anyway, because Shaq always cheat." That ignited a fire back in Shawnee, and Shawnee was just like, "I don't like her." So that's why Shawnee cleared everybody out last week at her party. So they're just basically telling Jennifer how they feel like she was wrong for that, and Jennifer is telling them, "I don't feel like I was wrong for it. I mean, it's a known fact that he cheats." So she's pretty much stuck in her ways with this little situation. And then it cuts to a scene with OG and Tami. Now, Tami claims that she want to catch up with OG, but I just feel like because Tami refuses to film with Evelyn, and she probably don't want to mess with Shawnee neither, this is the only safe girl that she can really, hang with and film with without bringing up the messiness of the other girls, because OG is on the outside as well. So they're at this little rope course type thing, and OG's basically telling her that she wants to retire from football because she's been doing it for 10 years. And Tami acts like she's so what, oh my god, surprised by the situation, definitely putting on. Then they call Malaysia on FaceTime. So they call Malaysia, and Malaysia's telling the girls about her plan to get Byron's daughter. Kristen and CeCe in a room together have a meeting in the kumbaya, and hopefully they can get to the bottom of it. Then OG starts to say, "Well, I know something that she done. I know something that Kristen done. CeCe done told me some things, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want to be messy." Now, that might come in handy later on as the season goes, but we don't know. OG might just be talking out her ass. But anyway, Malaysia claims that she doesn't want to overstep her bounds, but sis, come on now, getting way in their business like that, you definitely overstepped your bounds. So moving on to the next scene. So now we have Jackie Chrissy, we have Shawnee, and we have Evelyn sitting down for drinks, and they're basically talking about Jennifer again. So they're saying that, they don't want to be around her, her attitude stank, blah, blah, blah. And then they say that she brings up her mom a lot, because when Jackie sat down with her, she brought up her mom and said that because her mom died, she's had a bad attitude. Sometimes she's mad, sometimes she's sad, whatever. And that's understandable. But Evelyn wasn't trying to hear it. She was like, "Listen, let your mom rest in peace. It's been 3 years. I don't want to hear about that." Basically thinking that Jennifer is using that as a crutch. I know personally that death is hard. I don't care if it's been 3 years, 3 months, or 3 days. So honestly, Evelyn, stop it. It's really making her look like a mean girl. That's all I'm saying. And she keeps bringing up the fact that Jennifer did not reach out to Shawnee's. So it's definitely still about Shawnee's, and it's definitely still personal with Evelyn. So now we check back in with Malaysia and Kristen and London, who are having this sit down with CeCe. And CeCe did not know that London was going to be there. So she walks in. She looks like a deer caught in headlights. She's like, what's going on here? So she immediately gets a drink because, sis, you're going to need it. And they sit down to talk about whatever it is that's on their hearts. So CeCe is asking her, like, why was Evelyn coming up to me telling me that you said that Byron said that he didn't want me at the wedding? Did you know how my husband felt when he heard that? Blah, blah, blah. So CeCe immediately apologizes for bringing that bit of gossip to the girl. She was like, you're right. I should have never put our business out there to the girls like that. So Kristen rolls her eyes. So CeCe's like, you ain't got to roll your eyes at me like that. So that started a whole clusterfuck. London jumps up and she's like, you ain't never acted like no stepmama. You ain't never put family first. You ain't never act like family. So then Kristen starts up again. And Kristen is like, okay, well, why is Byron mad at me? So CeCe says, Byron is mad at you because you told the whole world that we don't come and see your kid. And Kristen's like, it's true. Y'all don't come see my kid and y'all live right down the road. Once again, CeCe is saying, how is this my fault? Once again, I feel like they are personally trying to change CeCe's personality. I just feel like she is not a down home, southern, family this, family that type of chick. You know what I'm saying? And at her age and at Byron's age, and he's way, way older, she probably does not want to come in his life and just 100% turn it upside down, get all involved with his family and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Byron is already established. His family is his family, and I just feel like she plays her role. Like, what's so wrong about that? But it's also clear that Byron is pretty much the head of his household and the head of his family, so they kind of look to him for guidance. So when he's not coming around and he's not showing up to events and he's not doing stuff like that, quite naturally they're going to blame the person that he's with, okay? Especially if he used to come to the events and he don't know about. But that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, moving on. Everybody just starts crying and says that they just want to fix it and they just want to get on a good note, blah, blah, blah. They hug it out. Let's move on because it was pretty much boring. So anyway, the next scene is Jackie and she's meeting up with Jennifer, and Jennifer brings a friend, and Jackie makes a mental note like, listen, why are you bringing a friend? Like, the last event we had, you brought a friend, now you're bringing a friend right here. Like Jen almost needs backup, but honestly, every time she gets around these girls, they literally gang up on her. I don't blame her. Not that she need any help, but like, I got my wingman just in case. You know, after somebody throws a table at you, you kind of look at the situation a little differently. So they sit down and Jackie's like, I just want to know what's going on with you because I talked to the other girls and I think that, you know, we can make amends and we can come together. But you have been a little mean lately and you've never been this type of person. You've always been mild-mannered. You guys know the Jen from the previous seasons. She never really got into it. If anything, it was Evelyn always throwing drinks, bottles, shoes, whatever she could get her hands on. Jennifer really never, you know, somebody even slapped her on the face and she just let it ride, you know, on national television. So Jennifer ain't never been that chick. So Jackie's like, I just want to know what's up with you. Once again, Jennifer starts crying about her mom, and honestly, you can just tell that she's literally going through it. I mean, this ain't no fake shit. Okay, ain't nobody just gonna cry and blame it on their mom. It ain't no fake shit. I feel like she's really going through it. Maybe it's the anniversary of her death. Maybe it's her birthday. Maybe something. But Jennifer, she ain't really been the same since her mother's death. Meanwhile, she's still maintaining her innocence and saying that she did not do what these girls are saying that she did, and she's not going to apologize for something that she doesn't do or hasn't done. Now, she's basically talking about this Shanice situation. She's still saying that's a lie from the gates of hell, and honestly, I don't know if we ever know. But she agrees to go to Jackie Christie's crystal party. Everybody is going to this crystal party that Jackie is throwing in hopes of getting some peace. However, in order to get peace, you got to go there with like a blank slate, a clear mind. You can't go there thinking, I'm going to throw a table when I see this girl. And I think that's what all these girls got in their head. But anyway. So moving on, Evelyn decides to introduce somebody new to the cast. She claims that they need a new real bitch around because some of these bitches is so fake. So she meets up with this girl named Phoebe that's supposedly from New York, and her baby daddy or her ex-boyfriend played in the NBA back in the day. Now, when I first saw her, I was like, she's giving me Cardi B vibes, and they sat down and they was like, yeah, I'm so happy to be around you because you from New York, your son beef patty this, beef patty that. And I'm like, was she brought on the show to bring a type of ratchet vibe? Because she started talking about what's organic and stuff like that. And I'm like, VH1, y'all never cease to amaze me. Y'all did the same thing with Tami Roman trying to bring somebody that's kind of rough around the edges. I mean, you never cease to amaze me. They're acting so happy to be around each other, but honestly, I don't even know if they really knew each other outside of this, okay? I'm just going to be honest. And Evelyn, you don't talk nothing like a New Yorker no more, except when you get mad. Now, when you get mad, that New York comes from the pits of your soul. But I'm not too interested in Phoebe. Moving on. So the next scene really quickly is CeCe and her fiance Byron sitting down to talk about the meeting that Malaysia had put together, and Byron is pretty upset that his daughter was there. He's like, why is my daughter there when the problem ain't with her at all? Malaysia overstepped her bounds, yada yada. He then goes on to say again that the issue is that he does not like Kristen, okay? That's what he said on episode 1. I don't like Kristen. And for some reason, Kristen in these scenes is not believing that Byron said that. And she's not believing that Byron doesn't want her at the wedding. She's not believing that. She's like, he would never. And here he is in a second scene saying that he doesn't like you. He doesn't care if he ever sees you again a day in his life. And he does not want you at the wedding. Why won't these people just pick up the phone, okay? Why won't Thomas just pick up the phone and be like, Dad, well, what's the issue with you and my girl? And then maybe they could squash it. Like, if y'all really live right down the road from each other, I don't know why y'all been beefing for a year plus, okay? Especially if that's your son and that's your only son. Come on now, like, pick up the phone. It's not that hard. But anyway, moving on from them. So in the next scene is Tami Roman in her home, and she invites her daughters Lyric and Jazz over because apparently and allegedly Lyric and Jazz are still pissed off at their mom and Reggie because they eloped. If you guys looked at the Tami Roman and Reggie wedding special, you will see that they kind of ran off and eloped right after he asked her to marry him, and the daughters were not happy about it when they got back to the house. So one thing that I want to point out in this scene is that Tami Roman poured her daughter a beer from the tap, okay? Now, she got money. She has beer on tap. She poured her daughter a beer from the tap. I was like, oh, you fancy. So they're talking about it, and it was like, yeah, we just felt like you guys were sneaky the way you did it and blah, 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 but it's whatever. We don't even care anymore. And Tammy's like, obviously you do care because we haven't talked, and she starts crying, and it's emotional. And we all know how this scene ends up. Everybody is fine, and they agree to disagree, and they're like, we still love y'all, whatever. We just wish that you would include us. They're like, okay, well, we're still going to have a big wedding. We're going to include y'all in that, blah, blah, blah. That scene is concluded. Honestly, it's no need to drag this scene out anymore, y'all. Like, let's just move on. Okay, so let's move on to this crystal party, because before the actual crystal party, the girls were turning up at the bar. So they're at the bar, kikiing and stuff. So Phoebe is at the bar too. So everybody's ordering wine, and then Phoebe's like, I ain't never had wine. What's that? And everybody gives her a strange look, and then Evelyn has to say, she's from New York, she's kind of rough. They're like, okay. So then Jennifer calls Kristen's phone to inform her that she was going to be attending Jackie Chrissy's crystal party. Now, when she called Kristen immediately put it on speakerphone, and everybody's in the background making faces like, ew, she's on the phone with Jennifer. And I'm just like, Kristen, you fake ass bitch. Like, pick a side and freaking stay there. If you're not going to be friends with Jennifer, don't be friends with her. But this fake stuff where you're going back and telling the girls everything she says, you're talking about her in dismay when you're around the other girls, and now you put her on speakerphone so the other girls can have their go at her. It's fake and it's low, okay? And she's like, girl, I'm on my second drink. She's talking to Jennifer now. She's like, girl, you sure you want to come? I'm on my second drink. I can't help you now. These girls, they ain't feeling you. And I ain't know you was going to come. And just doing the most, playing the fence, playing both sides. And I'm like, girl, you so fucking fake. I don't know why Jennifer keeps having conversations with you. Just have conversations with Jackie or something like that, because this season, honestly, Jackie ain't messy, okay? If she's going back and saying something, she's saying something and hoping to get a resolve out of it. Kristen is just going back toting news to be messy, because she's like, yeah, I told Jennifer not to say that, but she said it anyway. Like, messy. She was doing the same shit last season. This season is amplified, and this whole fake ass scene right here where she's, girl, Jennifer's on the way. Come on now. Have her back just a little bit. Like, you ain't got a lot to kick it. Anyway, so then we get to the actual crystal party, and when Jennifer walks in, everybody's face is just like, eh. So immediately when Jennifer sits down, Evelyn starts going in on her and was like, well, you just need to come clean and tell me what you said about Shanice, blah, 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 once again. So Jennifer's like, I didn't say anything about Shanice. So Evelyn's like, well, why didn't you reach out to her? And Jennifer's like, I almost raised that girl. I wouldn't say nothing about her. She's like, okay, then why didn't you reach out to her? All this time has passed and this rumor has been floating from last season. Jennifer's excuse is basically that she did not reach out because she has never been in a situation like that, and she didn't know how to interact. She didn't know how to confront it. She just didn't know what to do in a situation. Evelyn says it's BS and basically that Jennifer is not taking accountability for what she said. So then Shani jumps in and she's like, listen, from this point on, count me out. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to kick it with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. Your attitude is stank. Then Jennifer's like, no, your attitude is stank. Then Shani's like, listen, I'm just done with it. So Shani doesn't say anything else to the girl. And then Evelyn says, you keep saying that the reason you're acting like this is because of your mom. And it's like, stop throwing your mom under the bus, basically is what Evelyn was saying. Stop throwing your mom under the bus and saying it's because of her death that you acting like this. And she's like, Jennifer's like, listen, I'm not about to have this conversation with you. Don't bring up my mama. And Evelyn's like, well, you stop bringing up your mama and saying that that's the reason why you acting like an asshole. So at this point, Shani and Evelyn get up about to leave. And Jennifer starts crying about her mom. And she says, you know what? It is hard. Some days I wake up sad. Some days I wake up this and that. And Evelyn just turns around, walks out the door, slams the door. She made an effort to actually slam the door because she did not want to hear Jennifer use her mom as an excuse for her attitude anymore. When I think that was kind of rude and she was showing her mean girl side. Like, somebody's crying on the floor talking about they deceased mom and you like, whatever, bitch. And you walk out and slam the door. And this was your previous friend of 13 years. And Shani had a little bit more couth. And she was like, no, now I got to go and give you a hug. And I honestly feel like Shani is the one that needs to be mad at this point. Not even Evelyn, but she had enough integrity to go over and hug Jennifer when Jennifer was at a low point. She's like, even though, I'm mad at you, I'm praying for you and I can't be mad in this moment. And it was real big of Shani. And it shows basically that Shani is what? Human. Evelyn is what? Probably not. Anyway, that's all for this episode. And if you guys saw the episode, tell me what you think. I know that I might seem like I'm taking up for Jennifer, but I honestly just feel bad for her. So what y'all think?